Okay, this is the third and final video. I'm going to get this wheel spinning now. So we can go ahead and get the timer started. I'm going to pick my phone up. I'm never going to take it off the wheel assembly, so you can see I'm not going to add anything to it after I get it spinning. I've got a paper towel that's taped to the front pedal, so once we get back over there, I'm going to blow on it so you can see that I don't have any type of fan in here running, pushing this thing, making it go any faster, slower, or anything like that. Like I said, I've got about 3 emails from people saying there's no way that that wheel spins that fast without you having some kind of motor or a fan or something on it. I'm going to blow on that paper towel now. I'm about 5 feet over away from it so you can see it move. So that way you know I don't have a fan or anything in here turning these. And I'll make sure this video doesn't run over 15 minutes. I apologize for the other 2 that YouTube pulled off because of they went over 15 minutes and they didn't say anything. They let it go and upload, and they give you your URL, and then I click on it and it works, and after I guess 5 minutes later they knocked them off. So anyway, for those of you that's only seen this video and haven't looked at the other ones, these are full complement ceramic bearings that have no seals. They're dry lubed, and this wheel is balanced, so it's got perfect spin, perfect run out, no wobble, no nothing. The front wheel, the rear cassette, the rear derailleurs, and the strong light ISIS drive have full ceramic complement bearings in all those areas. All the bearings are open except the rear pulley bearings, and those have seals on them because of the contamination that'll get back in there with the chain and all. So for those of you who want to know about cleaning these, the only thing you have to do is use soap and water. Don't use any type of solvent or chemical or anything like that. If you ride in a lot of dirty conditions or dusty or anything like that, just take the hub assembly apart, the carbon fiber caps off the end, pull the wheel off, wash them out with soap and water. Don't pull the bearings out. Just put them in the bathtub or whatever, under a garden hose, a little bit of soap and water, swish them around. Don't use a toothbrush because you may break one of the bristles off in the bearing. And either air dry them or blow them out and stick them back on there. Don't use any type of oil with them, even a lightweight machine oil, like a 0 or 5 weight. Don't use any type of oil at all. These are dry lube for life. If anybody has any problems with them, as long as you haven't broke them, I can get them replaced. They'll last you forever. You won't ever have to, get another set. I've sold these to a lot of people throughout the United States, in Texas, California, the New York City area, and called the bike shop when they're getting the wheels to make sure they're familiar with these bearings. And I always hear, oh yeah, we know what those are and all, and I don't know how many of them have broke the ceramics. And then I hear, well, we've really never seen bearings like this. The ones they're talking about are the hybrid bearings that use the steel inner and outer races and then the ceramic balls. These are ceramic inner, ceramic outer, and ceramic balls. They weigh about 4 grams of bearing instead of, let's say, 30 grams for a bearing. Again, so for those of you that are not familiar with these at all, if you drop them like on the concrete, they'll shatter. They're brittly super hard, but they will shatter like if you drop mercury from your hand onto the concrete. And I can't get them warranted then, so you've got to be careful with them. When they're pressed in, they've got to be pressed in perfectly straight, not with a bind at all, or they will snap. So those of you who put your own bearings before in with a socket and a hammer, you can't do that with these. They will break. So let's let this go ahead and roll out. I spun this, which is about an equivalent on the computer to about 3 miles an hour, maybe a little bit less. I'm really going to try to keep this under 15 minutes so YouTube won't pull the video off again. But again, I'm doing this from the emails that I got last night and today saying that there's no way these spun that long, that I had a fan or some kind of something on them. So we tested about 20 different wheel manufacturers about a year ago, and we tested the Zipp, the 202s, the 404s, the 808s. There's a hill where I live that's about 75 yards up it, and it's only about a 15-degree grade. It's not really banked at all. And it runs out at the bottom of that hill forever. And these 404s consistently, time after time, ran out 150 yards farther than any other wheel assembly we tested with the exact same quality bearing. You know, it was the same bearing manufacturer. They were different sizes, you know, because everybody's wheels normally run different sizes. But I saw a video on YouTube where a guy was testing these set of 404s against another wheel assembly, and he didn't have any tubes or tires on them. Naturally, if you look at the inside of these wheels, they're rough, they have drag and everything, and he put a fan in it, and it showed how the other wheel kept spinning, well, the other wheel was smooth on the inside. Put the Zipp dimpled tire on it, and then run the same test and see what happens. I mean, that's just common sense. But apparently a lot of people, you know, they didn't notice that because they've never seen a set of 404s up close. And they do have a lot of drag without the tire on them, but again, who's going to ride the bike down the street with no tires on the wheels? So if you're going to do accurate comparison, you know, make sure it's accurate. For those of you who haven't watched any of the other videos, if you turn your bike upside down and get those wheels spinning real fast with like a Dremel tool, you'll watch your wheel bounce up and down, just like on the tires on your car. If they're not balanced, how you'll feel in the steering wheel, and you lose a lot of energy when those wheels aren't balanced. And again, these spin so free that you really do need to have them balanced or they're not going to be any good. I wrote in the description, I hope some people see that I bought these from the Geneva Bicycle Shop about a year ago in New York when I got my Conago President for a guy I was building a bike for. And like typical Zipps, I didn't notice it until I took the pictures outside of the bike that the white on the zip on the stickers is starting to yellow. For those of you, that might be a big deal. You can get these new from Zipp or you can get them cheap on eBay, but I wouldn't mess with it. It's not that noticeable. Anybody you're riding with anyway is not even going to get close enough to see them. So a lot of people have asked me about the why it's geared so high. Because of all the ceramics in here, you can pull this gearing. On the strong light, it's a 50-34, and it's a 12, 25, or 26 on the back. Well, the 12 being the smallest, a lot of people don't think they can pull that. You guys that ride all the time, you can put an 11 on there and pull it because of the ceramic bearings in here. You can get going down a hill without much grade in it, or a hill with a lot of grade. You get into a tuck, and you will leave everybody and not even pedal. You can get into a draft on a straight stretch that's flat behind your friends. You don't have to pedal. The wind resistance off of them, like NASCAR in the draft, it will pull you along. That's how free these things turn. It's unbelievable how smooth these bearings are. And again, these aren't the $100 ones that you see advertised on the internet or on eBay. You know, those are Chinese-made bearings, and you get what you pay for. You'd be better off just sticking with the stock bearings that come in your wheels. So let's let this spin. If it doesn't stop before 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and stop it by hand just to make sure I don't lose this video because I don't have any more time to upload anything else. And we're coming up on 9 minutes now. I'm hoping maybe I didn't spin it as fast so it will stop ahead of time and we won't go over. I won't have to stop it. Once it stops and goes back the other direction, I'll get about, roughly 2 more minutes out of that. The only other wheel that we ever did that actually spun longer than these were a set of the Hyperons for the Conago President that I built. And they don't use a sealed bearing or anything. Their hubs are actually made with the races in them, so we just use the grade 5, the CIN4 type black ball bearing in it, the ceramic ball bearing. And those actually spun for 25, 26 minutes. That was the longest spinning, least resistant wheel that we actually tested. But again, over $5,000 for just a set of wheels. Any of y'all that have any wheel assemblies out there, any quality wheel assemblies that you want to get these type of bearings put in, if you just want to send me an email through eBay, I can figure you up a price for it. They have come down a little bit over the last year, but like I said, don't waste your money on the cheap ones that you see advertised on eBay. They're not worth the money. If you put these underneath of a microscope, let's say you start with the stock Zipp bearings that come on these wheels. They're a quality bearing. Magnify them about 100 times and look at them. They almost look like the surface of the moon. They've got flat spots in them. You'll see all kind of imperfections. They're not perfectly round. These bearings, on the other hand, look like glass, even magnified at that. So there's no resistance in it. And again, oil, even a lightweight oil, causes resistance. You don't want to use any type of lubrication with these bearings. The dimpled effect on the tires and on the wheel assemblies, I actually saw something on the internet the other day where they've been actually experimenting with bullet designs, dimpling bullet designs, to get those things spin, and they actually have figured out that they do have a lot flatter trajectory with some dimpling in the bullet. So I guess that stuff's going to about everything now. The wheel weights on here, by the way, are not dimpled. And those of you that's worried about the weight on here, they don't add any weight on the front wheel. There's two 4-gram bearings and one bearing that's 2 grams, so it's not adding any weight to it at all. But if you notice, when the wheel does turn, the bearings are almost opposite of the stem to air up the tire where the tube is. So it's almost completely 180 degrees opposite of that. So that tube where it does exit, the dimpling on the rim does weigh more than the rest of the rim around that area, so that's why the weights are added there. The weights on the rear wheel are added. They're spaced out a little bit more because I did do the balance of that with the cassette on the back wheel, so the back wheel is balanced as well. You can pedal that back wheel, get it up to speed, put it in 10th gear and let it go, and it'll spin for about 2 or 3 minutes with the chain and the pulleys on it. So that's unbelievable. Turn your stock bike over, pedal it, and I guarantee you won't get over, let's say, 30 seconds at the max out of it. And I'm hoping I didn't spin this one. I tried to practice a couple times to keep this under 15 minutes, but we're coming up on 13 minutes right now, and once we hit the point we're at right now, normally I've got 2 to 3 minutes left on it, so once we get to 14 minutes, if it looks like it's going to go past 15, I will go up there and slow the wheel down. Once the wheel does start back the other direction, even though it's balanced as well as it is, it will actually go back the other direction a little bit. And generally we've got about another 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes that it'll do like a teeter-totter effect before it completely stops turning. And when it does stop turning, it'll always stop just in about the same place. It'll either be the 3 o'clock opposite the air valve and the weights, or the 9 o'clock opposite the air valve and the weights. And that's how you know it's balanced. There's not any machines out there to do this right now. You've got to do it by hand, and sometimes it's a hit and miss. You can get it within an hour. I've messed with it before for a long time and just can't get it right. But luckily these, I had about an hour and a half in the front and the back, and they went in real well. And we're coming up on that now, so I'm going to go ahead and slow this down a little bit. But once we do hit about 14 minutes and 50 seconds, I'm going to stop this and go ahead and load it onto YouTube so y'all can see it. Sorry about the resolution on that other stuff. I didn't realize on my camcorder, if I put it onto a flash card, the video quality was going to be so bad. And I didn't stop it enough. It's going to keep on going. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this, and I'll get it posted onto YouTube in the next hour so y'all can see it. Hope this relieves the skeptics.